It is time for you to awaken, Solia, my child. I am not asleep. Zartonians, Agorians, you are all sleeping in a sense. Quote Zerta and Solia. The secrets of the past are unlocked. Presented by Skybound Entertainment, distributed by Image Comics, Void Rivals, Volume 1, Issue 10, The Energon Universe. At Zartonia, a holographic meeting takes place between Minister Dulin, the father of Darak, and Premier Zaliak, the leader of the Zartonians. Premier Zaliak is irritated to be summoned to the meeting, but Minister Dulan wants to know the status of his son. Zaliak reluctantly admits that Darak still lives. Detecting relief in Dulin, Zaliak reminds the minister of what is at stake, to which Dulian responds by deducing that Dariak and Solia escape. Zaliak abruptly ends the call, leaving Dulin smiling. We transition to Springer battling Proximus in the wastelands. Springer takes a wide shot as Proximus jumps up in the air. Proximus, a massive fighter, claims he shall be the death of Springer. Springer has an idea. He transforms into a vehicle and chases off Proximus, hitting him and sending him flying over the car. Springer says, it occurs to me that a world with such a well-trained fighters probably didn't think to train for fighting vehicles. And this is no ordinary vehicle. It's heavy artillery. Darak finds the mysterious key on Solia, which was given to her by Mistress Vil back in issue 5. Darak wonders what it is, and he's never seen it before. He asks Handroid about it, but Handroid cannot identify its origin. All he can tell is that it's very old. Just then, Solia, even though injured, kicks Darak in the head and puts a choke on him. Darak says, Solia, you're alive, and she faints. Jokingly, or maybe not jokingly, Darak says, I'll just put that back where I found it for now. The battle continues between Proximus and Springer. Proximus electrocutes Springer, sending him up in the air. Springer transforms, shooting his wrist blaster right at Proximus, hitting him. Then Springer comes down, stabbing Proximus with his sword, ending the battle. Springer notes that Proximus, even though a small, was a worthy opponent. As Springer looks for Darak and Solia, Darak tells Springer she's getting worse. Help. As Springer lifts up the sword, he sees the body of Proximus missing. Somehow Proximus survived but left behind a leg and an arm. Springer thinks to himself that Proximus isn't going to get far. As Springer transforms back into a vehicle, he takes Darak and Solia to a hidden underground lab that he's been constructing for the last century, using the remains of the crashed ship and whatever parts he could scavenge on the surface of the sacred ring. When Darak removes his helmet, Springer is shocked to see the mind-eye crystal on his forehead, which he recognizes as an Energon port. Realizing Solia has the same, Springer pours some of the Energon supply into the crystal. As she begins to awaken, Solia hears the voice of Zerta telling her, it's time for you to awaken, Solia, my child. Solia says, I'm not asleep. Zarta then says, Zartonians, Agorians, all of you are sleeping in a sense. First you will awaken, then you will awaken the rest. The time of unity draws near. Solia questions, unity? Zerta says, all will be revealed to you in time if you allow yourself to see it. Solia asks, is this Zerta? Zerta replies, that is a name I answer to yes. Solia says, I live to serve you. Your will is mine. You have only but to ask, and it will be done. This I promise. This I have always promised. What will you have me do? Zerta continues. You are the strongest of my children. It is bestowed upon you a glorious quest. You must venture into the unknown depths of the world. There you will endure a trial never asked of your kind before. You must find me, my child. Your journey has already begun. The Agorian began it for you long ago. The next step in your journey will be difficult, to be sure, but I have already given you a key. Solia says, I live to serve you. Your will is mine. You have only but to ask, and it will be done. This I promise. This I have always promised. What will you have me do? Zerta replies, Solia, you must venture into the depths of the sacred ring and find me. Solia awakens to find herself glowing pink as the body absorbs the Energon, to the astonishment of Darak and Springer. Springer explains that the Energon is the fuel and food of the Cybertronians, and that while Agorians and Zartonians are indeed organic, their physiology has elements of a synthetic nature that appears to be Cybertronian in origin. Springer says Energon is conjugated form of energy. My people use it as fuel. It's our food. Your people, the Agorians and Zartonians, are organic, but your physiology has elements of synthetic nature that appear to be Cybertronian in origin, at least at the cellular level. That's only the beginning, really. The place your world, the sacred ring, seems to be an engine that generates energon that fuels it for a purpose, though I don't know why. Dirac recognized the name Cybertronian from their encounter with Jetfire. Springer goes on to say, that's energon. It restores our kind. My world, Cybertron, is in shambles. A civil war has been raging for eons, draining us of all our resources. Millions of years ago, my people, the Autobots, left our planet and set out into the cosmos to find the new source of energon in the hopes that we could turn the tide. Our side has been losing this war. We're barely hanging on. I've heard of a legend. One of our people broke away in the earliest point in our history, shortly after we gained independence from our creators. She rebelled against her brethren and set out to forge a new path. Her name was Zerta Tryon. Solio was speaking to Zerta. She then asked Springer, what does this Tryon mean? Springer says, it's a title that denotes a great wisdom and authority. Only two of my kind has ever earned its honor. Solia asks Dirac if she believes him. Dirac says, honestly, it all sounds pretty crazy, but I have to admit, when you take into consideration I just saw him pour glowing liquid into your forehead and bring you back to life, well, nothing he says makes any less sense than what I've seen already. Solia wants to know everything about Zerta Tryon, but suddenly a big loud explosion comes from outside. In Zartonia earlier, Premier Zalek questions why the signal is lost. When he receives an answer that tracker is down, possibly due to Proximus being injured, he immediately orders a squadron deployed to Proximus's last location in the wasteland. The Minister Arms says, a whole squadron? Do you know what I'll have to promise those men to get them into the wastelands? We don't have those resources to spare. Premier Zalek does not care and orders the Minister of Arms to send the squadron. As Springer, Dirac, and Solia rush to the noise, Springer says that had to be nearby. It sounded like an explosion. Your limbless friend might be back to cause some trouble. I should have seen that coming. Springer thinks it's Proximus. Solia says, no, it's worse than that. Much worse. Dirac says, well, crap. It really felt like we were going to live through this for a minute there, as he sees a full Zartonian squadron along with heavy artillery headed their way. In the Transformers Energon Universe, several key revelation events unfold across multiple issues. Secret channel between Zalek and Dulin. Zalek and Dulin maintain a secret channel for communication, as previously revealed in issue 4. Zerta's communication and vision. Zerta communicates with Dirac and Solia through visions, hinting at a deeper connection and purpose. Resources issues in Zartonia. The Minister of Arms mentions ongoing resources challenges in Zartonia, highlighting the strains on their capabilities. Springer's battle and wrist blaster. During his fight with Proximus, Springer utilized a wrist blaster reminiscent of his action during the Battle of Autobot City in the Transformers the movie, Autobot Rebellion and Cybertron Independence. Springer alludes to the Cybertronians gaining independence from their creators, paralleling the Autobot Rebellion against the quintessence from the Generation 1 cartoon. Title of Tryon among Cybertronians. Springer reveals that the only two Cybertronians have ever earned the title of Tryon, mentioning Alpha Tryon as the other, indicating a great wisdom and authority. These elements weave together to shape a narrative of conflict, discovery, and the exploration of identity and the destiny within the Energon Universe. Next, presented by Skybound Entertainment, distributed by Image Comics, Void Rivals, Volume 1, Issue 11, The Energon Universe.